Recording in progress.
How you doing, Dan? Okay, time being 6 o'clock, I'll call this meeting to order. Roll call, please. Oh, sorry. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Get ahead of myself.
Uncovered, you got a hat on.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now roll call, please, Pat.
Wanda,
Here.
Dan,
Here.
Sherry,
Here.
Don,
Here.
Joe.
Here. At this point, does anybody have a financial or non-financial reason to abstain from this meeting?
I do not.
I do not. I have none. That I'd take approval of the agenda.
I'd move approval of the agenda. Second.
Motion and a second. Further discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Agenda is approved. At this time, I would entertain anybody who would like to make public comment to please step forward. We're gonna try to limit public comment to about 3 minutes and then we'll go in. We'll let Mike go into it and then we'll have another chance for public comment at the
And
end.
he probably has some of these, thank you for serving. I wouldn't, do it. No way. You can't please everybody, I know that. So, with that in mind, when we purchased our land on 303 in 2007, we had 10 plus acres. It was paved road all around it where we wouldn't have bought. This was supposed to be our retirement home. Well, as you can tell, if you've driven out that way, that it's not too hot. We were told in this room, when they were going to tear up the paved road, that within 2 years, we would have some sort of blacktop back, whether it's chip seal or whatever the name was, I don't recall. But I wished I'd made a recording, but I didn't. But at any rate, that hasn't happened. I don't understand why 301 was done before 303, because 303 is a straight shot all the way to 81. 301 doesn't. Was it because they done first? Were they done first because of the politics? There was a group of people threatening to secede from Yankton County, and I know several. And did that put the pressure on? That, that shouldn't have come into bearing. Let them go if they want to go, but that's not it. The thing is, I don't understand why we were told. I understand you have a problem with the bridges and the flooding, and that affects money. But why did we drop off the plan entirely for 5 years? That's a little bit long when we were told within 2 years something would be done. Okay. Some of you were on the board then, but most of you, a lot of you have changed. When the tape was down and you were checking for usage, why was that done after it was turned to gravel? Of course, it's not going to be very high. Why? Because people don't want to drive in that gravel. I've had twice the windshield's fixed. I've got dents in the car. Plus you have to change your air filter constantly because of all that extra dust. I mean, it's causing a great increase, plus the deterioration on our paint on our houses. I mean, it all builds up. The church right next to us was repainted. They don't have a lot of people. That had to cost them an arm and a leg. And that dirt is not helping that new paint job a bit. Anyway, onward and upward, as the saying goes. I can't even read my own writing. Isn't that terrible? That's why my wife wouldn't let me write to her. Okay. someone told me that they had $800 and some worth of damage done to their car because of the dirt. I can't explain that. They'd have to explain that and have the mechanic come and tell you. But, you know, that's just one more thing that dirt road's causing. What is to be done to help us in the interim until something is good to cut the dust? I grew up in Vermont. I'm a ridge runner, always went around the mountain the same way, so I limp a little bit. But at any rate, we put chloride down. I know it's not good for the car, but it helped keep the dirt and dust down. I don't know, there must be something better than that now to cut the dust, at least somewhat. Water is dry as it's been. We can't get the water. Everything, and if it hit the ground, it's going to soak up so fast it wouldn't do any good anyway. Okay.
That was the 3 minute, but I'll let you kind of wrap up, but that was a 3 minute.
Was it? Okay. May I do one last thing? No, I think after 20 years of moving around, we don't want to move again. 20 years in the Air Force, I moved so much, I was gone 50% of the time. And this was to be where we were going to stop. We don't want to give it up just because everything's gone downhill. Thank you for your time, your service. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Can you state your name into the microphone for the record, please?
Sure. Stillman Slason, S-L-A-S-O-N. There's probably no one you've ever met that has Stillman as a first name. That's why I go by Still, S-T-I-L-L. But I'm never Still, as you just found out.
Thank you. Anybody else care to step forward for public comment? I can't see behind this big sign.
I'm right here.
And you're gonna have to move the
Okay,
mic
I'm
down.
Gina Hauk. I live over on 449. I'm sorry.
There you go.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm Gina Hauk. I live over on 449. My husband and I moved here 10 years ago from Idaho. And when we purchased the house, just like Still in them, the road was paved. It was great. Well, since then, since you guys have done that, I am the person that had some damage to their vehicle. It cost me $800 for a canister ignition thing for my vehicle. I took that to the mechanic and he said he has never seen a vehicle that has had that much gravel and dirt inside the canister. Just like Still said, I've also replaced sensors and everything else in my vehicle due to the dust and the dirt, and also the filters for the cabins. I mean, we care about our homes, obviously. And therefore, you know, we worry about our children because, I mean, our kids are on buses also that have these gravel roads. I've heard of people that are like, I mean, it causes alignment issues with your vehicles. Like he said, windshields, who pays for that? We do. It comes out of our pocket. And as far as like suspension and alignments, people don't know how to drive on gravel roads, obviously, because there's so much washboarding and stuff through there that it literally will shake your vehicle. Consider yourself. How would you feel if that was your home and that you cared about it? And like they said, when people drive past, there's dirt and dust everywhere, and it goes inside your house, it goes inside your vehicle, and it causes damage. And just think about that when you go ahead and like do this stuff. Think about the things that we were promised. Like they said, we were told that this was going to be fixed. So think about it when you say something, actually finish through with it.
Hello, my name's Andrea Mybaum. I live at 43348 310th Street. It is designated as a minimum maintenance road at this point, and I would like to see it have the sign taken down and have the county maintain the road. We have 15 homes on that road with property taxes of $2,777,482 currently on that half-mile stretch. It's used more than occasionally. It's used every day. we've been to a lot of board meetings. We have a tower out there now that's getting paid to be out there. We have another conditional use permit that's in the process of going through to let trailers for horse trailers go through on this road. My husband is the only person that's currently maintaining the road. So I'd like to see this become maintained. I know everybody else out here wants their pavement and stuff like that, but we just like a gravel road. And it is a road, so we just like to have it not be minimum maintenance at this point. Well, I would rather have a county maintaining some of it versus not at all ever. Like, we don't get any maintenance whatsoever. That's kind of what I have to say at this point.
Thank you, Andrew.
If you're gonna have to race to the,
Excuse me, buddy. I was here last week or 2 weeks ago and talked about same road Andrea just mentioned. And we were kind of hoping we'd get a resolution on that tonight, tomorrow, if we could possibly. It's all true. There's 15 homes on this road. We got 2 other housing developments that use that road also. And it's all we're asking for is to have the sign removed and just have, anytime they blade 434, if they could possibly blow blade 310 at the same time. Not asking for a special time, but just when they do theirs 434, if they would do 310 also. Thank you. Oh, yours, buddy. Oh, wait, excuse me. Can we finish up on 310?
Oh, that's all right. I apologize. That way I have to go back.
Hey Brooks. How's it going?
Hi, I'm Brooks Uguski. I live right on the first entrance to 310 off of the road that Doug and Andrea are discussing. Traffic has increased on that road tenfold since those housing developments really came into play the last few years. I've been living out there for 12 years. That used to be rather quiet. And again, when back then it was no maintenance, no big deal. Now we're seeing in the mornings, I'm just about tempted to put a counter out there and a video camera anymore because the amount of cars that travel by my home alone, and they're not respectful at all. That's nothing that you can't control. That's something that's got to be controlled by law enforcement, of course. But what that does to that road, and thank goodness for Andrea's husband, I maintained it for a long time and I got tired of it. I was out there with my skid loader constantly and I got tired of it and I was done. Again, that's wear and tear. We're not getting our money back for that wear and tear at all. That's just something we're doing to be courteous to each and every neighbor out there that we can. But now that we have the folks behind us with the housing developments, that again, they drive very erratically. They come around the corner, spray a lot of gravel in and out of my shop. My shop sits right there on the corner. I'm really surprised somebody's come through it yet, whether it be spring or winter or whatever. But what needs to happen in my eyes, again, it's been talked about, been shuffled around for years about getting that turned into back to county. They keep cussing because the road's off of the section line. I don't care. You want to take my property and make it a road? I'm already used to it. It's 12 years old. Leave it go. Make it a road. I know the ditches.
excuse me, could we have the guys in the back that are chattering? Not. Sorry.
Oh, you're okay. Again, I've been out there 12 years. I've been hearing people say, let's take care of it, get it done. The amount of traffic that's there now, something needs to happen soon. The talk is over. I know a lot of people, there's a lot of more things. You guys are busy with a lot of things. I get it. I understand it. But when something has to be done, it's got to be done. Because one of these days, somebody's going to end up in a bad position out there. And I don't know how to explain the frustration levels everybody does have out there that lives along 310. 434 and 310 going the other way. Just for an example, 310 going east of 434. There are 2 homes down there, two of them. The county blades it, the county moves the snow off of it, the county gravels it. 2 households. Woohoo. Let's get that taken care of and figure that out. I think we should serve more people because our taxes are going to help 2 homes. Come on now, let's do something better. We all can do better with that. So Thank you for your time. Thank you for your service to the county, and have a good day.
Thanks, Brooks.
Thank you.
My name is Darrell Hensley. I live on 449th at 301. And I'm just new to this area. I'm from Oregon originally, and I purchased my home there in November of 19. And at the time I was purchasing my home, one of the things that I was looking for was paved access. And the pictures that I saw while being in Oregon showed paved access. And then I find out from Google that their picture is 5 years old, because when I arrived here, it was gravel. And shortly after that, I have dialysis for kidney failure. So I was talking to one of my technicians about the fact I was a little unhappy about being a gravel road to my driveway. And then she informed me, and she lives in town, that the county said they'd come back after they graded it in 2 years and repave it. So I'm just asking, what's going on here? And here in 5-year plan, there's nothing about 303rd or 449. And so if you guys actually said those words, I said, I hope that you would keep your words like I keep mine.
I'm Chauncey Christensen. I live on 449th too, right beside Darrell. We were told that these roads would have something done to them. And I see nothing on your 5-year plan that there's any plans for oiling or doing anything with these roads. And 303, I don't think you guys realize that is the shortcut from Wakanda to the north end of town. And that road is just alive with traffic in the morning. From 5 o'clock on, that 303 actually needs something done with it, and it's gravel. It's just solid washboard from one end to the other. I see you're gonna hard surface part of it. That is so rough too. It really needs doing, and that's in 24, but be lucky if it holds up long enough for you to do that. But 303, that really needs to have something done to it, because there's just a ton of traffic on that, because all the people coming from Wakanda area and down that way all drive on that road every day. It's just unreal. But you have nothing in your 5-year plan for any of this. And 449th, even when you ground up my road, even ground up the hill, that Broderson Hill, that big steep hill. Well, that's solid washboard from one end to the other, all the way up that hill. And even the bus drivers are just driving. My wife works at the school, and she said the buses they're just rattling apart. They can't hardly keep the kids in the seats on some of those roads. They're just solid washboard. You need to take a 3/4 ton pickup and drive down our roads. It's just unreal. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Lyle Stratman. I live on Road 303. And in 2003, I put a new house on that place. If people don't know where I live right on 303, right next to it. In one day, my wife counted 30 trucks went by that place from 8 o'clock in the morning till 11 o'clock, and from 8 in the morning till 11. Why it's so washboardy is the amount of traffic that gets on there. It's the trucks on there just going by. And I'm not picking on anybody, but it's the hay haulers and the side dumps. There's a gravel pit on 303 down by Redwood Hill by Johnson Bridge. And I like you to come out there some evening when the wind's out of the south about 5 miles an hour. You cannot be in my house, Arlie. The dust is so bad. These guys are complaining about their cars graded. Sorry, I lost my voice today, but inside the house, it's so bad. And number two, if you ain't gonna do nothing, the taxes on my place, I rebuilt it all. It went up naturally. Give us some break. Give us some, breaks on the taxes. If that ain't gonna help us do it, I mean, there's like no passing signs on there, either two on the road, like for mowing the ditches. Can we pull them out? You know what I'm saying? Because I don't see too many, no passing signs on any state roads that are gravel. I mean, help us do something or whatever you can do. I need something for dust control out there. Just in front of my place. It's pretty bad when dirt dust comes out of the south. And I want to end up with, it's the only line coming out of 81 coming straight south. And Chauncey's right. It is a shortcut to Wakanda. But it would get a lot more traffic with oil. A lot of people are just avoiding it right now because it's just so bad up there. And number two, I just want to say thank you for all your guys' help and your service. At least I see you guys oiling some roads around here. There's a 5-year period or a 3-year period. I think there was nothing done in the county, and that's why we got so far behind. So I want to thank you guys all for your time and your service for the county. I appreciate it all. Thank you.
Thanks, Lyle. I'm gonna pause 1 second. Everybody check your phones, turn the ringers off. Thank you. Go ahead.
My name's John Siegmeyer. I live at on Cedar Hills Road, right next to 310th. So I'm the last property on the other end of the road from Brooks. And I've lived out there 11 years, and there are a lot more houses, buildings from Deerfield to Cedar Hills Road. The Sundance Road District or the Sundance Road goes down. People can go down to Highway 52 or come up to 310th. So 310th, that half-mile section has become a real feeder for a lot of vehicles. You have the FedEx guy, the UPS guy comes out there every day. They don't slow down. And I know that's another issue, but you put, I think it was $10,000 worth of gravel down at AT&T expense when they did their tower, which helped a lot. It's still not a great road bed, but that helped. But yeah, I see my neighbors out there. I have a small tractor of 23 horse, so it doesn't do much for moving snow or grading. It doesn't have enough weight. But I've harrowed it and done things to improve it, filled in holes and picked up rocks. So if the county could put forth a little tax money towards, like Doug said, an occasional grading, maybe after a big snow, because the people out there try to plow it with their pickups, help us move a little snow on a blizzard. We can handle the 6-8 inch snows, but just seems like there's more and more houses. You got more and more tax revenue coming in. You could maybe earmark a little bit for the equipment that's already out in the area. So we'd sure appreciate your help. Thank you.
Jay Cutts, Mission Hill, South Dakota, and I don't live anywhere near 310th Street, but I understand these guys' problem. The only problem I have with 310th Street is I think, if I'm right, it's built on half an easement, not a full easement. So if you guys ever decide to do anything about it, we need to bring it up to county specs on a full easement and get it done properly. And then we can build a decent road. And the other reason I came up and say that is because of the rural fire district. And we had this conversation about the campers out there at the lake. If we want fire trucks to be able to run out on those roads, we need to have cul-de-sacs at the ends of them. And we need wide enough roads to be able to run at least 2 trucks. So just keep that in mind. Thank you.
Looks like that's it. From my vantage point. Going once, twice. Public comment is closed. Okay, with that, I think I'll just turn it over to you, Mike. I'm gonna move around towards the back of the room. I don't know if anybody else wants to, but feel free to.
Well, thank you, everybody, for coming tonight for the 5-year plan. It's an annual thing we do. Helps us get our, if we didn't do a 5-year plan like this, we would not be able to apply for any big grants for our bridges. Plus, it's also a good tool for us to go by, to actually have a plan for our road systems. I guess first we'll start with next year's plan, 2023. Down there in the legend, on the left side there, tell you chip seal, microsurface overlay, double chip. So I guess next year's,
Mike, you wanna like explain to them what the micro is and how we actually utilize it to save money? Because not everybody might know that. But you wanna explain what that is?
Dan,
to
use your
everybody?
microphone.
we'll go through the
I
chips.
said, Mike's gonna explain this. It's kind of a newer process we're using with the micro abrasion. And Mike will explain it. It's actually saves tax dollars so we can get a better road for less dollars. So just take a couple minutes and explain what that is.
Yep, we'll go through the chip seal roads first. Scotland Road 292. For next year, that's up in the northwest part of the county. 294th Street between 81 and 436, the Colony Road. There's 2 short runs, 3-mile stretches there in between Highway 46 and the east-west Lesterville Road. Be 433, 437, and then on the east side of the county, 446 would be the north-south Mission Hill Road from Highway 46 all the way down to Old 50. Be a 12-mile stretch there, and then the Vollen Road, east-west Vollen Road from 448 to the county line, and then also the Bluff Road down there. And then down by Highway 50 and East Side Drive there on the east side of Yankton. You'll see a little dot of orange there. That would be the Sunrise Edition housing there behind Humane Society, is that right? Where that's at?
James Steele.
James Steele, that area. Next would be microsurfacing. This year is the first time Yankton County has done any microsurfacing. Clay County and Yankton County share the county line south of Irene. We did a 8-mile stretch of that, and then also, well, Clay County paid for half, Yankton County paid for the other half on that stretch. And then also we did microsurfacing from south of Vollen all the way to Old 50. And then, if you remember, a few years back, we overlaid part of Old 50 up to approximately 449th and Old 50. But anyways, we did like a 2.5 mile stretch there. Microsurfacing, what that is, it's not an asphalt overlay. It fills all the, it's a 2-step process. The first step is called a scratch course. What it does is it's like a screed behind a machine that mixes emulsions, Portland cement, and finer aggregates. Anyways, as that goes along, you're filling wheel ruts, any small dips in the road. Is it going to correct a big dip from like a culvert or any side-to-side sway? No, it will not, but it will improve all the pounding, which if you get rid of the pounding in the road, it should last longer because trucks and stuff, well, as they're bouncing, they're constantly beating the road down. So try to smooth that up. And then there's a top layer on that, which is also helps. It's just a second coat of filling the ruts and bumps. But process on that this year cost $55,000 a mile, and that was including the striping. Chip seal, doing a single chip is this year was just shy of $22,000 a mile. So we're a little more than double than a chip seal. But approximately this year, with the Walshtown Road, we did a profile mill and we're overlaying that. We're not quite complete with that yet, but dollar amount on that right now is approximately going to be in that 90 to 95,000 range per mile. So we are saving a lot of money on in improving the road. I encourage you to, if you're familiar with south of Allen and how rough that was, I feel that it has helped that out tremendously. Next year also, the green, that is 306th Street, the Tabor Road from Highway 81 to the county line on 428. Our plan is to do the same thing we're doing on the Walshtown Road this year. Mill 1.5 inches off and come back and put 1.5 inches back on. I went through the microsurfacing process and I didn't even point out the roads. So next year, the microsurfacing projects are the purple on the map. 2 stretches. There's actually 3 stretches there, but anyways, 305th Street from 448 to 444 Walshtown. That's one section. I feel that was a good candidate because going east all the way to the county line on the Vollen Road, that was overlaid probably like 2013, 14, somewhere in there. Should have a nice road then all the way from the county line to Walshtown. Next stretch would be 304th Street from Highway 81 to Utica. That'd be a 5-mile stretch. Alumax Road off of East Side Drive. And then also Hastings Drive going north off of Alumax Road. They're getting pounded out and rough, so I feel that we can probably buy some time and gain quite a few years out of doing the microsurfacing on them stretches. Last on the map, you'll see blue right by west city limits and north of 52 there. Anyways, there's a double chip seal that is west 11th from where the city's maintenance ends to Deer Boulevard. That is a gravel road now and is getting double chipped. Reason that is getting done is because all the homeowners and landowners out there are paying for it over the next 5 years. Any questions on 2023? If you go to the next page there, there are spreadsheets kind of showing the dollar amounts of each project. Orange chip seal, purple microsurface, green asphalt overlay, and the blue double chip. Next year, projects total approximately 3 million on all them roads we went through.
That's today's dollars, not necessarily what it'll be, correct?
Well, that is not today's dollars. That is estimates for next year's dollars. Because like I said, this year, our chip seal is just shy of 22,000. So I shot high for 24,000 just to, so we're covered. Also microsurfacing was 55,000. Well, I shot it to 60 just in case. I'd rather figure high than come in short. And we'll find them numbers out this next spring when we put it out for bid. In 2024, 294th Street. That's up north of Irene. That is orange. That is a gravel road right now, and that got milled up. I think it was 2019, and we're going to put it back to a hard surface. That will need we'll still need to have Mill come in and inject some base stabilizer, and then it'll get double chipped right after that. Well, it'll get a single chip and then probably a month later, the second lift of chip. Also, the 3 miles north of Irene there on 452, that got overlaid last year. So that'll be up for chip. Wallstown Road, 444 Avenue from 291st Street all the way down to 209th or 309th. Chipping. And then also down by the lake, Chalkstone Hill, the streets in Timberland Park, the streets that we do maintain in Riverside Acres and Oak Hills, English Heights. The green asphalt overlay 303 from Walshtown Road to Highway 81. On to microsurfacing, be the Utica Road from Highway 46 to Highway 50 and be a 12-mile stretch there. Riverside Acres, Deer Boulevard, be approximately 2 miles there, and then also Timberland Drive, the main entrance into there. Any questions on 2024? Well, that was in 2019, I believe it was. Sherry, is that right? We did the task force. And in the road task force meeting, we went township or town hall meetings, I guess, Lesterville, Mayfield, I believe Gayville. And there was no response on them roads. So that did not get in. On the task force, we identified our ABC roads, which ones go back, which ones stay maintained, what level of maintenance. And maybe that's something we need to. I did not pick this myself. But so 294th was, like I said, that was the whole commission. It came from the public, and then at the end, I think we probably had it on the commission agenda probably 3-4 times for people to come in and speak upon roads. Why would we come speak to you about them if we were told that we did it anyway? We didn't think we had a need to go to meetings. I guess I was not in charge at that time. How far can I kick that can down the road?
Can you give me the date of that meeting or approximate date? Because we have recordings of every meeting. Well, I have the same problem, but it can be looked up. I can imagine that it's a little difficult for me to imagine that we would have promised that anything would have done. We probably said, yeah, okay. I'm not doubting that at all. Yeah.
And I guess I would kind of agree that they probably just assumed that now you look, I mean, these were oil, I mean, it ain't my road, I appreciate my road that done, and I'm very happy with it. I do feel all this our roads taken from them, and that they do have nice homes, and they are bad, the roads are bad, and then I look at this 5-year plan, and I don't see anything. I'd be very frustrated if I was like that.
So
from and that was before 2018's election. And so of all the commissioners up here, most of them were not on the commission at that time. So in 2019, we had a road task force. It was actually the second task force because there was one in 2014, I think, sometime there, but this one was more focused on trying to recover from the flood. So we tried to take a holistic approach to the whole county. And this was a time when budget's pretty tight. And when you sit down and look at how many miles of paved roads are across the county was one thing that that task force considered. So we had people from townships, we had people from unorganized areas of the county as well, trying to get the whole county covered in that conversation. So we felt, after talking about it, looking at our budget and the number of paved roads in our county and the dollars we have available and the bridges we have to do, that we didn't feel at the time we had enough money to keep up all the paved roads. So the decision was made from that task force. It was brought to the commission approved it. As Mike said, we had lots of public comments on that. But essentially, the west half of the county lost 9 miles of paved road about, and the east half of the county lost about the same number. When you look at the area that you're talking about, and we talked about this at great length during all of those meetings, if anybody went, when you look at that area, you've got a paved road every 2 miles. That's pretty tough to justify with the dollars we have and the area of the county we have to upkeep. So that's one reason the decision was made not to repave 303 and 449. Yes, sir.
I have one comment. 301 was done. It doesn't go all the way through to 81. Yet, when they were doing 301, all those big heavy trucks came on 303 instead of going up Walshtown Road and going down the road they were redoing. In other words, they destroyed 303 because it wasn't that bad.
Okay.
So we watched them, and I called. I even sent a letter to this commission saying why, and I never got an answer. You know,
And I feel for you, and we have that exact same concern as what they do 46 and as they do 81, because we know what's going to happen to all of our roads across the county. That's exactly right. And they are not going to give us a penny for it. So we're going to have to suffer through it. I can't do anything about your concern there. Was the choice to do 301 the right choice? In hindsight, it probably wasn't. Should that have been the road that turned to gravel? Maybe, but we're in the situation we're in. And when we had the road task force in 2019, 301 had just been surfaced. So to sit in a task force and say, well, 301, we're going to grind up now so we can pave 303 was not part of the conversation in the road task force. So at the time we had these dollars and we can either do everything half-assed, let's be frank, or we can try and focus on A roads, B roads, and C roads. And if we get money, which I don't want to say this, thanks to COVID, we have a pot of money. And we are now, the only reason you are seeing any pavement in this plan is because of COVID. That is it. And I can share the dollars, how much we've gotten, almost $8 million if you count the FEMA money in our county. That is more than we get in property taxes in a year. So we essentially got a free year, and we are starting to put it, according to our plan, the A-level roads are getting pavement. And we started with the west side of the county because Walshtown was the first road the task force identified. If we got a windfall, that's where the money would go. And that's where you're seeing it go. The next road was the Tabor Road. And so next year, the Tabor Road is going to see some of that pavement. We're going to try to string those dollars out as far as we can. So Mike's doing microsurfacing and he's doing some milling to try to, instead of doing the 150,000 a mile investment, to do the 55,000 mile investment so we can do 3 miles instead of 1. So we're trying to make those dollars go farther. But according to our plan, those dollars are supposed to go into A and B roads first. Then we revisit the C roads. And right now, those roads that we turn to gravel are C roads. And so they will be last on the list. Now, when we did this, and we chose to grind 294 in those northeast townships, we promised that road, this commission promised that road would get paved, surface, not paved, surface with a double chip seal after 46 was done. Why are we waiting? Because when 46 is under construction, where are those trucks going to go? They're going to go on 294. And if we surface it today, that road's just going to be crap too. Yep. And again, we cannot put up roadblocks. We can't. So that road's going to take the brunt of it. And they,
Lost on my road the other day, and I said, where do you need to go? And he said, I don't know. He said, "The sign that says no through truck," and he says, here I am. Choice, no, I might as well keep going.
yep. And no through trucks, how many people really follow it? I don't know. You hope they do, but it's a challenge. But that's why those roads are gravel today. And that's the process we went through. We tried to gather as much information as we could. We made the best decisions at the time. Do I get called? I live on a gravel road. It's been a crap year for dust. I do. I've got 2 miles one way, 2 miles the other to get to a paved road. I know what you guys see. I don't live on a highly traveled gravel road. I will say that, but I know what it's like to live on a gravel road with washboards and things like that. But right now, our goal is to improve those roads. And as we get down the hierarchy, if you will, if we have dollars left, we will reevaluate. I live near Utica. The 5 miles west out of Utica got ground up. And that's the one that goes to Joe's substation. And I live in that area. And I know what that's like when someone just built a new house just west of Utica. Phone call, but that's the situation we're in right now. And it's not that we're blowing your concerns off, but if we address all the concerns that are brought to us, we would not have enough money in the budget to maintain the system once we got everything surfaced. We have to think about the long term as well. And we've got 4 Jim River bridges. The one we just got a grant for, $4.2 million. We're going to open the bid package and we're hoping it's no more than 5.5 million. We're bracing for 6 million. So that gap has to come from somewhere. And if we want to get that bridge done, it may come from the county. And that means that pot of money we got from COVID just went like this. So we've got a lot of irons in the fire, and we've got 2 more bridges over here on the east side of the county for Jim River. I would sure like to go for federal funding for, but we're still going to have to come up with 20%. And if old 50 is 10 million, 20% is 2. And that's just the one bridge. We still need to do Johnson too. So there's a lot of things in play, and I don't want to get up here and preach, but I do want you to see the county through the commission's eyes and through Mike's eyes. Whenever I get a call and I call Mike and he says, gosh, I feel for those people. I really do. I want to do something for them. But we have all this other stuff we've got to do too. And he's praying for no snow this winter. And that helps. It really does. If we're not out there plowing roads, we have more money to put in surfacing and things like that. One thing I will mention, whoever lives on 310, that is a township road. That is an unorganized township. We had a township task force that I was on. And if anybody is interested in organizing your half township, I have a really nice write-up for how to consider to get that done. And of all of the townships in the county, that is the one who would benefit the most, because the township tax dollars would stay with you. And you would say where those dollars go instead of the county. So consider that. That's my little plug for organizing townships. And again, if you're interested, I'm more than happy to sit down and walk you through that process. But 310 is a township level road. 303 is not. 303 is a county road. So,
Sure.
and that's in an organized area.
Sherry, one of the earlier points was made that one of the roads had 2 million, or probably quite a bit more than that, 17 houses on it. And they said that was the taxes. I don't know that everybody understands that the school system gets what, roughly 70% of that.
60% of the taxes collected go to the school board.
Yeah, and it depends on the school district, because they're all a little bit different. But I think the lady who got up and spoke about the dirt trail that her husband was maintaining, yes, ma'am, I think you live in Ziskoff South as well. So again, the road she's talking about, is it a township road? Well, just because it's a section line road does not make it a county road versus a township road. So there's county roads and then there's township or secondary roads. And so all of the roads Mike is talking about here today are county level roads. Except for West 11th, and those citizens chose to self-tax themselves to get that done. That one's a township road too. A double chip seal on that road, we estimated about $135,000. They did. Yep. So off the top of my head, I'm thinking they're each,
About $700 a year for each of the 50 houses.
Is that what it is?
Per occupant.
Yeah, and that was specifically written, and if you want a copy of that agreement and how that was done, I'm happy to forward that as well. We put a lot of thought into, because we figured once that was done, there would be more requests for it. So we tried to write it as generic as possible, so it would be applied to other areas, so.
Maintenance is for perpetuity as well. So there's an initial cost to pay that. At $700 or $800 per home. Let's say 200 a year once that initial cost is paid for.
That's correct. Yep. There was gravel applied in December 2014. And I think that was maybe the first time the county actually did anything to it. And so, and then the tower people brought some gravel in.
You mentioned A roads, B roads, C roads, and gravel. What's A and B?
A would be our priority road. Those are hard surface roads. And if we felt we got any extra money, that would be where we put paving first. So we would put an asphalt overlay, or we would do some of this microsurfacing. It would essentially try to do something other than just a chip seal. So a B level road would be the next tier. So once we got the A level roads addressed, if we had extra money, that would go in the B level roads. And then once those are addressed, the C level. But you have to remember to keep the road, now all this Walshtown just got a surface put on it. In 5 years, we got to chip seal that? Is it in there? Oh, 3 years down the road, but you have to get a chip seal on because those cracks will open. And if you don't get a 22,000 per mile chip seal on it, then that road will just deteriorate too. So
I understand what you're saying is 303 was an A road. Downgraded all the way to C.
no, we never had a road plan before 2019 like this. And the reason we did that in 2019 was because of the flood. And it was an erase the whatever, let's start from new and let's build our road system with the dollars we have and the traffic that we saw. So you're welcome. Yes, sir.
I live on 303 too. I got your plan, you're $4 million per mile and all that too. But I live right on 303. The road is disappearing. I'm not complaining about the dust, but that road is disappearing, guys. You're going through your hard pain, you're going through everything. How bad is it gonna get before we have to get graders in to bring it back out? I go for Nebraska. Them roads down there are like horse trails. We got so bad. I'm afraid that's what's coming up here. It's South Dakota. It's gonna get so bad, you're gonna have nobody driving on the road. It's gonna go, you're gonna go through everything on it. It's gonna cost more like $4 million to move that. We'll bring that road back up. People going just on track. So that's all my comment. That's what I was already.
All right, thank you. So now that I've interrupted Mike, I'll let you get back to them.
Well, just to say, I think the comments for 310, 303, et cetera, are received. I don't want people to think that we're just saying, yeah, okay, sounds good, let's move on. They will be discussed again, but for the purpose of this meeting, we'll get the floor to Mike, and he can go through, and then we'll have some more questions and comments at the end.
All right, on to 2025. We'll start out with chip seal again, Jamesville Colony Road 436 on the west side there, north of 46, 6 mile stretch. Tabor Road, that'll be getting overlaid in 2023. So it'll sit 24, it'll get crack sealed, and then in 25 chipped. Also, Old 50 from Whiting Drive all the way to the Vollen Road 451. And also East Side Drive from 50 to Old 50. 448 north of 46. That just got chipped last week. We're looking at possibly trying to overlay that in 2025, the 6 miles north of 46 to 291. Last year, 448 from Highway 46 all the way to Highway 50, 14-mile stretch. We chip seal that. The road's not in terrible shape, but there are some spots where it is rutting. So we're going to microsurface that. Any questions on that? (2026) It's hard to predict prices on all the processes with asphalt, oils, everything like that. So you'll see almost looks like there's less work going on in this, but what are the dollar amounts going to be? And if you look at the spreadsheets, all the years, well, next year is like at 3 million. And then after that, it's approximately about 2.5. Where are we going to be? That's just it, along with these bridges and stuff. Who knows where our budgets will end up being. Well, the chip seal, Orange Roads again, 301 between 452 and Walshtown. 452 or 451 south of Vollen there by the hay mill, and then all the way down to where it ends up at 452 south of Gable there. Also, Kellen's Pit 102 southwest Jim River Road, I believe is the name of that one. That's getting chipped this year. There's a lot of cracks on that right now. Yes, we crack sealed it. It's getting chip sealed now, but it's so far behind on chip seal. We need to get on top of it before we end up losing it. Next would be microsurfacing, 300th Street, East-West Lesterville Road from 428 Avenue, the county line, to Highway 81. And then also 291st Street, the Viber Road from 446 Avenue to Highway 81. Full depth mill and overlay. The blue-green mix there, that is north of Lesterville there, 3-mile stretch. Like to see that road is in need of an overlay. But I don't want to end up with the Walshtown Road to where we keep building up the road surface without a shoulder, we'll end up with a drop off, steep ditch and slopes. So before we would ever think about overlaying that, I feel we need to do a full depth mill and start over. Any questions?
Mike, I see on in 26, you've got a chip seal from Fallen to 309th Street again. Does that mean your micro layer that you're putting on in 22 is only gonna last 4 years? Is that how long on it lasts?
No, it's not. Microsurfacing is no different than a chip. This plan is all subject to change. If that stretch looks great, then we might not do it. The chip seal on that, and we'll move that money somewhere else. This, like I said, this is our first go around with this. Microsurfacing still needs to be chipped though. It's,
In the same sense asphalt gets chipped a couple of years afterward, then it's just to keep them sealed.
well, like with a new asphalt road, the main thing is you can go drive what we've paved already this year. Well, drive what we paved last year. The asphalt surface, the new pavement already turned gray. You let that keep going on while it turning gray, that means you're losing your oil content on that very top layer. So let's not lose that oil content so it keeps its flexibility. We need to seal it. The sooner the better. In the perfect world, you would pave it and chip seal it right away, you know, but it's not feasible for us. That's same with, okay, so and that brings me to another point, south of Vollen there. Talking to engineers, talking to other counties that have done the microsurfacing. So like chip sealing, we try to crack seal our roads before they get a chip. Chip seal will stay somewhat flexible. So therefore, you can crack seal the road, but tar the cracks. And that chip seal in the wintertime, it flexes along with that crack sealant. This microsurfacing, we were told not to crack seal it because with the Portland cement and everything else, it is so hard and rigid that it will not give, that once it's cracked, it's cracked. So therefore, that's another reason that it may have to get chipped. We're definitely going to crack seal it in a couple of years. So we'll just have to see how it looks. From what I've seen in Clay County, I'm guessing we probably won't have to, but any other questions on 2026? This is reaching out a long ways. Like I said earlier, the 5-year plan is a good guideline, but we don't know what's going on, what's going to happen in 24, 25, even 23, you know, that we could have a bad spring and roads could blow apart. So I'm not saying I didn't put any effort into the last couple of years. I did put effort into it. This is if things would go good, you know, but it's all subject to change. So 27, just like you said, asking about south of Vollen there with the microsurfacing that's getting done, that got done this year. Well, 27, that's a 9-mile stretch that would get chipped again, that got microsurfaced this year. But, and then the new pavement, if you look back, on 448, I think I had it in the plan for 25. So therefore it would sit 2 years and get a crack seal and then a chip seal. Also, we're getting back to our 5-year rotation on 433, 437 over there on the east side. And then microsurfacing, the stretch between Highway 46 and the county line, the Menno Road on 431. That road is in good shape. We're starting to see some rutting, some fatigue. It got chipped this year. My goal is next time to microsurface it and gain all of our ride back. And also on 210, it'd be 437 Avenue between Highway 50 and South Dakota Highway 50 and South Dakota Highway 314. It's a 1 mile stretch there. And then full depth mill and overlay, north-south Lesherville Road. It'd be nice to do that in sections. We'll have to see how the budget numbers and everything go. Maybe we'll be able to do more than, maybe we can get by with doing it in 2 sections instead of 3. We'll just have to see how things look when we get later on in the years. Any questions on 2027? Not, we'll move next onto our bridges. Guess I should have been changing the map. On our bridges, this is my map. I'll wing it. Thanks, Joe. So for the colored, it goes yellow would be 2023, green 24, 25 would be orange, 26 blue, and purple 27. So we were awarded the big grant for the replacement of Stone Church Bridge on 431 up in the northwest part of the county. That is in the plan for replacement, depending on what the bids come back at. The opening bids next Wednesday, and we'll have more of an idea on that. Also, I'm gonna tear this out. Also, we'll be applying for, or we did apply for a PE grant this year for Johnson Bridge. And that will be going on starting this fall into next year. So I put that in the next year's plan because we will be paying for that out of next year's budget, most likely. 303.
Yeah, that's the one over the James.
Yep, over the, it's another Jim River Bridge. And then also Lime Pit Road over on, I don't know, what is that considered, 302 or 303? 302. That there will be getting replaced. The bridge is load rated, it's narrow, it's a wood plank bridge. The abutments, the concrete is getting tough. We'll be replacing that with a steel structure. And then also on 304 Street, just off of 448 to the east there. I had that in the plan this year. It might possibly get done yet. We have the culverts. We have not completed that project, so just in case we don't, I have it on for next year's plan for us to complete. We will tear out the bridge / box and replace it with culverts. 2024. And that's another thing too, is bridges, finding out this year on how much cost on bridge replacement has gone up. We're probably looking in the range from 75,000 to 100,000 on iron prices and labor and concrete. Everything has gone up. The bridge pile alone. Go ahead. We do, it just depends on the location. So like a steel culvert, if it is a bridge that that normally only has any flows or water going through it in a rain event, well, then that's a very good possibility. But if there is if it's a normally wet creek, a steel culvert will not work. It will work, but how long, it'll rust out. It may only last 20 years, concrete boxes, that's something I've been looking at. We did do one of them this year. And it's just as good as a bridge. But it all depends on the location for that also. Just certain instances like on 301 south of Marindal there, when that bridge 2019 flood, we priced doing a box culvert there instead of a bridge, which would have been awesome, but the price on doing a box with the elevation change of the creek bed and the amount of fill that would take, it come up to like just shy of $1 million. The bridge that we put in there was 550. All right, on to 24. Replace bridge replacement on 446 north of Valley View, just north of 305th Street, approximately half mile. That is a concrete structure. And that would be a replacement of what type of a bridge. Undetermined as of this time with what is cheaper. Are we going to go with the concrete or go with another steel structure? Well, a steel structure, because the existing bridge there is a concrete bridge. Then also for 2024, there is bridge removal on the east side of the county there, or sorry, west side of the county. It would be on 429th Avenue there, 1.5 miles north of the Tabor Road, 306th Street. That's an old truss bridge that's been out of commission now, I believe in like 2011. Something hit it and there's no repair on it. There's plank is gone. So we applied for a grant and we were awarded the grant for the removal. On to 2025. Mm-hmm.
So you mean that will not be replaced?
That will not be replaced, that will be removed. And when I say removed, they will reclaim the abutments and everything to go back to how it naturally was.
I got a question on the one on Valley View up there. Nothing to say, but there's a big hole going northbound in that thing. Somebody's got to get up there and put a flag on that thing or something. It's pretty bad. We're driving on the southbound lane, just the northbound lane's got a big hole like this. And it's one northbound.
Okay. Yep.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
That's one thing, you guys got a lot of things going on. Don't drive every road all the time, and it's something should do more often. So we're on to 2025. Jamesville Colony Road, on 436 there, we're going to be applying for a PE grant. PE grant is preliminary engineering that determines size, location of the bridge. They do hydraulics, and then next would be on 442nd Avenue, which is on the east side of the county there, about 1.5 miles south of 291st Street, the county line there. That is for replacement. And then also a replacement on 432nd north of Highway 50, about 2 miles, bridge replacement there. That is one where I feel that we were going to be replacing it with a concrete box. That would be the Martin Creek, I believe. On to 2026. This might be a dream, but replacement on Fleegs Bridge on 309th Street there crossing the Jim River. And then also on 296th Street, 1 mile, half mile east of 449 there on 296. That would be for replacement also. And that one there is also possibly a concrete box. 2027 would be a bridge on the Beaver Creek, which is on 302nd Street, just west of 432nd Avenue. That one there could possibly be a box, but my feeling is a bridge once we do hydraulics on that. Are there any questions on the bridges?
Here are the list from 5 years ago to the list we have today. So when you look at all these bridges, when they do the ratings, they'll look at all of them. Red Bridge is, need to do something. So is this the new one?
Yes, this is updated.
Oh, it's in there. Okay. So a couple of years ago, how many reds were on there? Reds and yellows, at least double.
Oh, yeah.
Double that, double what's here.
Yeah. So, I mean, the goal Mike's had over the last couple of years is to do at least 2 bridges a year. And you've been doing a good job. If you notice, the next 3 years, 2023, 24, 25, it's $500,000 on bridges every year just to try to catch up. It's no different than if you put a new roof on your house, but your windows are all broken. So we have to do a balance between the road surface and the bridges. And the other thing that 5-year or that task force, A-level roads, we've got 1 bridge left.
1 bridge left on an oil road outside of the Jim River Bridge roads.
Outside of the Jim River. So the goal in that task force was once the A and B were identified to make sure the bridges weren't limited. And so we have been going through and trying to update those first. So
I believe the last load rated bridge on an asphalt road outside of the Jim River Bridge roads is the one on 446 north of Valley View.
So do you have the one north of Utica on there?
That one is legal loads.
That one's legal?
Yep.
Okay, I thought that was a little limited. So.
It is, but it's 2440.
Okay. So that green on there, it was a lot of effort and getting focused and getting that done. Some of those came from grants from the state, but most of it was just us doing it. So that was in the plan too. And as those bridges get green, those dollars can be freed up to do other things.
Well, and the other thing to remember is all these green bridges on here, how many of them may become yellow or red in the next 10 years?
Mhm.
So we need to work on our reds and yellows now so we don't end up with a full page of reds and yellows 10 years from now.
Good point.
So. Next would be a project status list for 2022. Our chip sealing, it's not quite done yet this year. We should be wrapped up on that this year, so I did put complete on all them roads. So the roads that we did this year was the north-south Lesterville Road from the Boy Scout camp down south of 50 there all the way to Highway 46. 431st, which would be from Highway 50 or Highway 46 to the county line north of Stone Church, south of Menlo there. 291st Street from Highway 81 to 446, 448 Avenue from 291 to Highway 46, 451st from 306th Street to south of Gayville there. Southwest Jim River Road, which would be over by Callan's Pit, just east of Yankton here. Deer Boulevard from Highway 50 to Highway 314. And then also 450th from Highway 50 to 451st, which it's 450th from /310. It's the Hay Mill Road south or west of Gayville there, so. Okay. For asphalt overlay, Wallstown Road, it's not quite complete yet. Hoping we should be close to the end of the week. If not, we'll finish up Monday or Tuesday. Asphalt overlay on 306, the Tabor Road. Our goal was to go from the county line to 430th Avenue, which would be the north-south Lesville Road. That's not going to happen this year. We're kind of tapped out on budget there for asphalt. Added to this year was the microsurfacing, west or east county line, south of Vollen, and then part of Old 50. Incomplete, crack sealing on 294th, the Midway Road from 81 to Jamesville Colony Road. Well, our goal is to get that done this fall yet. Walshtown Road from 291 to 303rd. Well, it's actually 299th is what it should say. Planning on getting that done. 452nd. What happened here? 452nd from 294th Street to Irene. Oh, yep. No, that's the new asphalt, the 3 miles north of Irene. That's not canceled. I don't know. I messed up there. And then 305th Street from 444 to 452nd. Was our original plan. Well, now since we're microsurfacing next year, 305th from Walshtown to 448, we will not crack seal that. We will crack seal what was overlaid back in 2011 from 448 to the county line. Bridges. Our bridge work for the year, we took a pretty heavy load. It's going pretty good though. We up on 448 south of Center Point, 1.5 miles. That was replaced. The one on the Midway Road. That was another thing with the Midway Road. Why did we put a brand new bridge on a gravel road right now? Well, when we plan to hard surface that road, I didn't want to, the bridge that we tore out was load rated. It's going to be a hard surface road, so why not have good bridges on the whole thing? I just would hate to tear up a new road 5 years from now because the bridge is in worse condition. We did get awarded the big grant replacement for the Stone Church. Up on the Scotton Road, there was a bridge that was down to 11 ton. We replaced that with a concrete box. We were awarded a PE grant for the Johnson Bridge on the Jim River there, on 303. Oh, and then also the PE grant on Fleegs is still going on. So to forewarn everybody, October 4 and 5, Fleegs Bridge will be closed during the day. The state is coming down. They're doing foundation studies. They'll have a drill rig on the bridge to drill the river bottom to see how far, what the soils are and how far they will have to, the piling will have to go if we were to replace the bridge. And I will get that in the paper next week. Are there any questions on the 5-year plan? comments? I agree.
No, we didn't win the lottery, but there are things that do happen that Mike hasn't mentioned. Didn't we get a grant from the state for $2 million just recently? And there were a number of townships, maybe 14 of the 18 that didn't come here to listen to the process of
Yep, the
being able to apply for those grants. And
the
and they
county
were for-
alone was awarded,
They were for culverts and
was it 286,000?
Yep, over the 3 years, it was about 700,000 for township level bridges.
And Mike has gotten several grants from the state and federal, where the whole state might have got a $16 million one. And what do we get, Mike?
For the replacement of the stone church?
Yeah.
3.2.
Yeah.
So
The entire state budget
66
was. Yep.
counties, and because he had a 5-year plan
Mhm.
and has done the background work, he's getting the grants and making progress.
And that the 5-year plan, like to get awarded for these or be able to apply for these big grants. That's where the wheel tax falls into place too. You know, I know people get upset about wheel taxes, but if we want to be able to apply for some of these, we have to have them in place. Go ahead.
That wasn't foggy or something. How did you determine A, B, and C?
By the public, during them meetings, we went to them areas of the county and at them town,
Patterns or anything like that?
well,
Yeah.
traffic,
You got a public.
There were traffic counts on every,
there was,
every
we had
place.
traffic counts also.
We had traffic counts all over.
I was just gonna say, well, if it wasn't traffic patterns that you were using to determine what's an A, B, or C route, then it was just the people that happen to come at your meetings that raised the voice.
No, there was an outside firm in 2014 or 15 that came in and did traffic counts on the roads. They actually developed a master transportation plan for adding roads and et cetera for growth. We relied on that for a lot of that data. But when we did our study, we were focused more on what do we currently have and what can our budget support?
Right.
So it was a hybrid, and then we did go out and get feedback from folks, but that was who showed up at the meeting and squealed the most did not get an A-level road. If that's what you're asking.
And the other thing is when we did the count on 303, it was after they tore up the pavement, so you had gravel road. People didn't want to go across it. Give them back.
Well, back in 2015, it was still hard surface.
It was hard surface then.
There's, on the highway department, there's the 2014 road corridor plan, I think. Was that where the studies are from?
The corridor plan came from South Dakota State.
That's that is that master transportation.
Yeah.
But the 2019 is not, it,
I can have it
we'll make
posted.
sure to get that 2019 plan or study should be posted on, excuse me, sir. Sir, hold on. The 2019 plan, I'll make sure gets posted on our webpage. It was up. It looks like it's been taken down, but that should remain up, and it has all the meetings and studies and findings from that.
I'll post the township task force too, if anybody's interested in organizing. Yep. So it'll be underneath the highway page. So on the top, go to the highway page and we'll put it there.
Sir, you wanted to say something?
Well, yeah, I forgot when I came up for comments earlier, was that I know that you send out graders and you have to get graded several times during the year. But that only lasts maybe one day of being level, because then you got the farm equipment going through there and it's back to being a washboard.
Well,
Well, it's not just farm equipment. It's not just farm equipment.
The tractor tires leave ruts as they drive along.
I live on a gravel road that's got a rut every 6 inches at washboard. I know what you're talking about. And there are no farmers go on that road. It's because people speed, because they accelerate, they slam on their brakes. Yeah.
Yeah, I know that's.
And you're right. In one day,
When you're not even near a stop sign.
yeah, one day it's already back to the rumble bars.
and it's really
Well,
tough
when
this,
it's
like
dry.
last fall and this year, it's been so dry. You can go out there and blade it, and like you said, probably by the end of the day, it's back to a washboard because there's nothing to pack back down. You're pushing flour across the road, and when you're doing that, you have all that loose aggregate and powder. It's just, there's nothing to stick back together, so therefore that is the effect.
One time you left it all on the side of the road.
Well,
And
that's,
the next time you came through, months later, put it all back across the top.
well, on some of them roads, when it's been so dry, we will push all that off to the side in a windrow and hope for a rain so we can pull that back on.
That water just runs down the road along that windrow. I know you guys gotta follow state, but I'm just a farmer. I mean, you're leaving cuts down the roads that deep. I mean, I think there's gotta be a better process. Leave that thing gravel alongside that road. Water just stays on the road for, like me, east me, all the way down to 448 or 447. That water will travel a mile down that road before it hits 448, gets off that road. I mean, if somebody goes in the field, the other day, I just took the tractor out there and plowed it in that windrow so that water can get off the road. You're just destroying the road, you know what I'm saying?
Every 4
I'm
months.
not an engineer, I'm not nothing, I'm not,
Yeah.
you know, saying.
No, but I want you to know that every 4 months, we have an 8-county meeting. The road superintendents get together. They talk about best practices. We go to, we just got back from Pierre and the annual county commission meeting that the highway department put on several seminars on how to do things. I know it doesn't seem like we're doing anything, but I
don't need no gravel on the side of the all nice and crown, so water can get off of them. It's got water travel a mile.
I-
If you live on that road, I mean, a little bit we got left, it's just wrecked.
I'd tell you this.
I'm not trying to tell you how to do your job, though.
I'd tell you this one solution. Yeah, in the county that I grew up in, it's a little bit bigger than Yankton County, not much. It's got one road that's asphalt going north and south in the county and half of the width of one asphalt road. And I talked to the county commissioner at their county meeting, commissioner meeting last week, and they have the same problems we've got.
A lot of counties are worse off, actually.
Yeah.
Don, just not to doom and gloom, when Don and I were in Pier, one of the biggest topics was county bankruptcy. All the requirements that we have to fund a jail. We have
Juveniles
5, 6,
that we have-
700,000 we
gotta
have to
pay
do with
for
court. So
Indigent people.
yeah, all of that comes first and was required by state law. And what we have left to work with goes to the roads. So if we have a big murder trial that costs us $350,000, guess where it comes out of?
And
This
one's coming
budget.
up.
This budget here, so.
Well, we're a little off topic, which happens, and that's fine, but
Mhm.
So since we're left off this 5-year plan, is there any chance, how do we get on this for the 6th year? For like 303 and 449, we were promised these would be in place.
well, one thing is, as Mike said, that it's a plan and plans can change. We've kind of talked if we need another task force for roads. Things change obviously every few years. In 2019, when this was done, the financial situation was drastically different. We did receive some funding, and the goal has been to try to prevent that from happening to other roads, quite frankly, and it's not a good position for you people that live on there. But that's been the goal, is to try to get these roads that have been neglected for years and years and years, to get them into a condition where if we can simply chip seal them, for the most part, that's the maintenance that we need, rather than out there patching, semi-sized potholes and trying to just scrape things together.
I'd answer your question just a little bit different. I'd say by doing what you did tonight, you come and talk about what you're seeing and why it needs to be changed. That's how you get on the list.
So we need to be somewhere, we need to be on this somehow, because like I said, that's why you got Johnson Bridge on it, you're replacing it, or you're looking to replace it. Through road, part of the road is gravel, and it's crap.
So, and I do believe, and it's been a while since I've read the report, but I do believe at the end, they recommended that happen every 5, no later than 7 years, I believe, to revisit it, to see if things are changing. Well, 2019, next year's 4 years. So would it be a good time to do it next year? Maybe. But as Mike and Joe have said, this is a stab in the dark. I mean, we're pretty sure about 2023, pretty good on 2024, but 5, 6, and 7 are really just trying to follow what should be done for the roads we have. So things can change. But absolutely.
Right.
When we had a flood, nothing got done in 2019 because we are. Yep. On. Yep, and so, but that's things change, like you said, there is an election this fall. So there's 5 people running for 3 seats. So you're welcome to attend the forums and support the folks who see your vision.
There's one thing I can assure you though, Chelsea, if he had the money, he would correct every problem on that damn list.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he inherited it back to the 60s.
Absolutely. The one.
Because in my defense, I have people from your area call me. I have people from other roads on the west side of the county that called me on roads that were ground up. It would be so easy just to chip seal it. I just wish I could just sneak it by these guys, but I cannot do that.
The thing we don't agree with is you put 2 inches of gravel on there, so then when you grind it up, now we have this much loose dirt. It just turns to water to it.
Yep.
If you could just do away without the gravel, just grind the road up, I think it back down.
I don't want to blame Brian on everything though, because we went and attended a study. He and I and others went down to Oklahoma and looked at the processes they were doing on there and grinding up roads and remilling them. And with the budget that was available, that was one of the only options he could fix a road that he felt was highly dangerous because of the potholes. So it's a money deal.
So I guess look for, at some point in the near future, I think a revisit to that highway plan, that task force. There should be some public meetings involving people of the area and
Be a good time tonight to get some volunteers to be on that task force.
absolutely keep it in the back of your mind. And with all seriousness, do keep it in the back of your mind. And I won't be sitting here when that happens, but I may be part of it. We'll see if I'm allowed to or not. But for this 5-year plan, I think we've covered everything. Again, I don't want you to think that comments and concerns have gone unnoticed. And trust me, it's not easy to sit here and knowing that you once lived on a paved road and it's ground up and things have changed and it's not an easy situation, I guess, not, I guess I take it to heart that it's not necessarily fair, but at the end of the day, we have so many dollars and so many roads that do need to be maintained. I would say keep an open mind to an opt-out down the road. Because the goal is to get these roads into the shapes that they are. And as Sherry mentioned, the A roads were identified first, B roads second. And at some point, we are going to be out of money again. And that point is going to be in about a year. We will be broke again. And as others have alluded at some of the conferences and whatnot, county budgets are coming to a head across the state, and we're not the only, we're sitting very well compared to a lot of counties. But our budget can only grow 3%, and everybody knows what inflation did this year. We don't collect more taxes. So not only do we not collect more, but our costs and our expenses are going up as well. And so just keep in mind that money has to come from somewhere, and we do need good roads. And get involved, I guess, if you can.
If anybody wants to visit, I'm on the, not on 11th, West 11th Street, but I'm on that project that people are throwing in an extra, I think $700 or $800 a year to double chip seal and fix it up. I'll tell you, I'll talk with you about it.
With that, I think we had plenty of public comment, but if anyone does want to come forward for a comment, now would be the time.
I just want to,
Bob, he wanted to come up for public comment.
I just want to ask Sherry, during the road task force meetings, we discussed the Yankton County Safety Center being paid for and those funds would be available. Is it 2024 or 25?
2024 is the last full payment, and that's about 610,000. And then 2025, it's about a half payment, so it's like 300,000. So that's about the same time we're going to run out of ARPA funds. So that's already on your tax bill. And if there is a particular project, and I think it would have to be project based, we're going to do this. And so we're going to collect the tax for 1 year, 2 years, and then it's done. And if you guys liked what we did, we can ask for another one, but that is the timing of that. The safety center will be paid for at the end of 2025. So I also wanted to say thank you to Mike. He joined as superintendent in January 2019, and then we had this thing called bomb cyclone. So he was really thrown to the wolves in his first year, and I think that he has done a very good job of developing his team and working with the public. I know I've been excited to work with him ever since January 2019. So thank you to you and your team for all the work you put in.
Thank you, Mike. With that, I would look for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Meeting is now adjourned.
Blue does a really nice job out there, and when it's wet, it really does help that road for there, because the one is dry.
I wanted to send them out today.
I'm sorry.
Still recording.
Well, we were just told.
Sneak by you so I can shut it.
Still